Jay,
Hey there, how are you?
I'm phenomenal. How are you, sir?
Very good.
Hey guys,
Beautiful. Juana, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to meet you. Ian and
Yes.
Jay. I think it's the first time that I kind of like meet you guys, right?
Face to
Yeah,
face, official, yes.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, nice.
I'd like to get some coffee from your background there, Ian, if that's possible.
I could do whatever I can.
I see
I
you've
could
got a
do
coffee
whatever I
maker
can.
back there. I'm a little jealous there. Yeah,
I've got all kinds of things back, all kinds of appliances back here, Jay.
yeah, it looks excellent. It makes
You
some
have an
sense for us,
espresso?
and yeah,
I don't. I'm actually not a coffee drinker.
yeah, it's
You know,
okay.
but that could be arranged. You know,
Yeah,
that could be
yeah,
arranged.
yeah.
Actually, let me plug in
A
some
Have
beer
you
would
ever
be fine
visited
too. Yeah.
test
Italy?
test this. I'm sorry.
Have you ever visited Italy?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Okay. And I'm amazed that you haven't become like a
Let me
coffee
plug in.
drinker.
Well, that's a whole nother webinar for a whole nother day. There's a reason behind that actually, which I could go into, but we'll talk offline on that one, Juana. We'll talk
Oh,
offline
Yes.
on that.
Oana, are you in Italy?
I am in Italy, yes.
Nice. Where are you?
I'm like 40 minutes away from Naples, so it's in the south. 2 hours from Rome, down.
Okay. Yeah. I've spent a little bit of time in Italy. I don't parlay Italiano, but I can say I can say beer I can say cerveza or bere. I can say bere. I need a beer, a bagno, al bagno, something like
Mhm.
that.
Got a
Listen,
bunch of
Yeah,
attendees
that's
trickling
awesome.
here. Paul, how you doing, my friend?
Hey Ian, how you doing?
Life is phenomenal, brother. How about you,
Good,
man?
good.
hey Paul, nice to see you again.
Likewise, good to chat again.
Let me make sure, and then we've got waiting on Colin to pop in, and then we can get running.
Where are you located, Ian?
I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. How about you, Paul?
Right now in London, I think so far everyone's on a different continent, I would
We
guess.
are. Well,
No,
I'm in Virginia, so I'm south of DC
Ah,
about 2 hours. So we've got yeah.
sometimes Virginia versus Florida feels like a different continent, though. You know,
It
where
is. It is.
it's you know,
I've got some kids down in Florida. I'm a little jealous of their weather right now, but yeah.
yes, yes indeed,
And
So
yes
also
indeed.
UK is not part of Europe anymore, so
exactly. Thank
that's
you. Good
same
point.
continent, but maybe
Yes,
different space in
awesome.
some sense. Yeah.
One moment. Mhm. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll get started momentarily. Just waiting for one more participant to join us, and then we'll be ready to rock.
Ian, question. After we
Come
do
and do for you.
our presentations, how long do we need to stick around?
Um, that's completely optional. I know that some people might have questions for you, right? That they
Okay,
want,
after, of
which may
course.
be
Yeah,
served. So it should be too long. Everyone is going to be respectful. 10 minutes max here. We should kind of,
thank you.
breeze through this and have that running. But I do know that, Colin was the last speaker. I know that both, Juana and you, Paul, are on that deadline. So I think we'll dive right in.
Thank you.
I want to kick this off and be mindful of everyone's time. And I know we also have attendees and whoever's not in attendance. Either way, whenever you're watching this, welcome to the show. We're going to drop a bunch of wonderful pieces on you guys here that can assist you with growth and taking it to the next level. So, just want to give you guys context if you don't already know who I am. Ian Rollin Berry, founder of AMZ Expand. We take a different approach with regards to execution and scale in the Amazon ecosystem, looking holistically from a program perspective around organizational growth. And the theme and the whole entire purpose of today's piece is beyond Amazon because that's actually what it takes nowadays to get that incremental success. Amazon is it's no longer a marketplace, which I'm sure many of you brands and founders or wherever you are situated currently might know or might not know if you're just entering the marketplace or just curious. But it's no longer a spot where you could just hop on and have a product on and see success. And if you're sitting there relying on product quality alone to win, you're already behind because today's winners understand where their leverage actually lives And most of that leverage actually exists outside of the product itself. And today, again, that exists more so than ever. On the ecosystem of Amazon, you're having, it's now reached a spot where there are more suppliers and factories also selling direct on the ecosystem themselves, often with the same product or products that are similar to, ones in brand, ones that you might be selling and, other brands that you guys are selling as well. So what happens in that capacity? Products frequently get copied, pricing gets compressed, and it just creates a much more of a aggressive and competitive marketplace. And so many brands might assume, all right, well, I've got a better product, and so that better product, should equate to better outcomes. That assumption isn't wrong, but it does require context because, first off, assuming that your offer, which I'm calling offer, means your sales price matches value towards the customer's framework. Assuming that that's sound, customers from the e-commerce perspective and on Amazon, they can't touch your product or take your supplement and know the effects of that from their computer. They can't feel your packaging from their computer. They don't experience the effort you put into manufacturing and what you put into product development for your product from their computer. What they can experience, though, is your content. Because like I often say, and I think this is one of the overarching things which can help, create a shift here, which, a lot of these wonderful people who are going to be sharing as well can speak to and will illuminate. It's like in e-commerce, we're in the business of selling pictures. We're in the business of selling words. We're in the business of selling beliefs and creating perceptions. Because perception is the product until your box shows up at the door. That's actually what you're doing to create the conversion event for your product to get there. And then they experience that the product is phenomenal and they share that and so on and so forth. And so us, as brands, we control three things. We control how the story is told. We control where that story is reinforced. And we control like how closely that story reflects the customer's problems. What we can't control is we can't control competitors. We can't control like this, how, suppliers enter the ecosystem and all of those particular things. But the things that we can control are is the perception and how we create that perception on and off the Amazon ecosystem. Because on Amazon is really, again, as I touched on, it's only like a partial of the equation. Your Amazon listing isn't just isolated into a container. It's like, okay, well, I did my A+, I did my infographics, we're good to go. That's a good framework. That's a good baseline. You need a best-in-class listing. You need to be able to have what I like to call the conversion driver, or what I like to call the mousetrap. But the best scenario for you is to allow for your customers to arrive with context, for your customers to arrive with social proof, with brand familiarity, with external trust signals. Because the off Amazon content trains the customer before they even hit your Amazon product display page. And then that Amazon content on page, which I like to call the mousetrap, that just closes the loop. And the content element of it, it's not just about, okay, cool, well, we did pictures and we did, we took pretty pictures or what have you and all of that. It's a conversion architecture that's more so, again, than just A+ your listing images. It answers, why your brand, why now, why at this price. And if your content doesn't answer that particular question, or if you haven't built a flow of pieces outside, again, of the Amazon ecosystem to illuminate that, then you're doing yourself a disservice with regards to how you can ultimately win and create that real estate on the Amazon ecosystem, which is the player with regards to being able to win in e-commerce nowadays. I mean, it is and has been, what is somewhat of an inevitability. One of the main keys in this, of course, and with any piece of it is, the customer intimacy part of it. You don't want to talk too much about your product. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds of the marketing angles and how to market, but of course, you're going to want to go forth with regards to understanding what you're getting forth with feedback from the reviews angle of it, from your rejections, leveraging emotional triggers, and having the usage that you come from that as context. But I speak to that more so from the understanding of when you go in here and the investment that goes into not just the creatives that you're making, but the investment into the on and off Amazon ecosystem that creates the most success on the ecosystem, you need to invest strongly into your content. And this shouldn't be just like a one-time thing. This needs to be a continuous thing because content inevitably depreciates. You gain more data points, more knowledge about what your customers are looking for, and markets shift. Competitors catch up. If you underinvest in content, you can force your brand into a situation where then you do have to compete on price because you become somewhat archaic with regards to how you're perceived and or your offering. And there are leverage points in there within those particular data points in which you received to be able to put yourself in a better position to not just, convert at a better spot, but also, put yourself in a position to learn from that and potentially enter other avenues with regards to a product development standpoint. And again, these are all the things that I speak to. It's like we can no longer, as Amazon brands and operators, be just solely having the discussion of tacos, ACoS, PPC, A plus listing. It has to be holistically, looked at because there are much more levers that are going on with regards to success on the Amazon ecosystem, which have to be put in play if you want to see success. And so everything that we're covering today kind of builds on this concept. Growth doesn't come from isolated tactics. It comes from the alignment. It comes from the products, the brand, the content, operations, all of it. And each speaker today will touch on a different leverage point within that ecosystem. Because the brands that are going to win and moving forward, they're not going to be the ones that are the cheapest. They'll be the clearest. They'll be the most intentional, and they'll be the most in tune with their customer. And with that one, just want to again reiterate, Ian Rollin Berry, Amazon Expand. Any questions? Always you can reach out to me with regards to LinkedIn, whatever it may be, and or Ian at AMZ Expand is my email. But this particular place here is now going to transition to other individuals that are going to share a little bit about what they do, how you can leverage that into your own ecosystem to be able to win again off of the ecosystem to win on the ecosystem. And with that, I'll give it over to Oana so she can give you some love.
Thank you so much, Ian. Hi, everyone. I love the point that you are making, Ian, first of all, because we are not in 2017 anymore. Competition changed, the system changed, first of all, right? We have in front of us a more complex algorithm. We have, you mentioned Rufus, Cosmo, everything like we moved away from the way that we were kind of like, just put a product on Amazon, it will sell by default. Right now, we need to gather more data points. And we also have, I would say the customers today, of course, they are pickier. They have, better choices. So always focus on the customer, or always make sure that you understand your customer persona and align at every point through the visuals. Now, many of you who know me, I usually talk about Rufus and Cosmo. Today, I will not be doing that. I want to talk about the new to brand. And specifically when it comes to consumables, I worked with so many consumables brands throughout the years, and there was always one thing that came over and over again. Yes, Amazon released us the data about new to brand, but only as advertisers, only when it came to sponsor brands. When it came to sponsor products, we were utilizing advertising, and you mentioned, Ian, earlier, you have ACoS, clicks, conversions, like the basic KPIs, but other than that, we were using, advertising and sponsor products to push for ranking. We never knew exactly what type of impact that has on consumables. So I have something for you today. I hope my share screen is working. Okay, perfect. The new to brand ACoS framework. I got very excited when Amazon finally released AMC because we are able to pull more data than ever. And many of you will think like, oh my God, more data. But yes, this is a game changer specifically when it comes to consumables, because you will be able to understand which of your campaigns are actually driving new to brand revenue. And of course, like what's the strategy behind that? You can use it in different ways, right? You can reallocate more because you are driving new people to your brand. And again, when it comes to consumables, lifetime value will correlate directly to this. Okay. I will be very short about this. Why? I'm a seller. I worked with many, many agencies throughout the years, started as an advertiser, then started like really focusing on what it is for optimization. That's why I started Stardust. We focus on ranking strategies and optimization science, and I'm a partner at Right Click Advisors with Jeff and Abe Chimali in order to help brands scale and grow through consultancy services. But let's get into the problem. Now, the challenge is, as I mentioned, Amazon shows you ACoS, right? But it didn't show you overall the new to brand orders that you were getting from the advertising money that you were investing. It didn't show you the revenue or the ACoS on that. So you would not know exactly the effort behind actually getting new customers. And I'm talking about here, of course, your efforts in terms of advertising on Amazon. There will be many other, frameworks and more data points if you do outside, like if you do, for example, TikTok and, attribution links, so on and so forth. But specifically when it comes to advertising and when it comes to brands that returning customers are very, very important. So the question was, how many of my customers are actually repeated customers or they are new to brand customers? But finally, we have the Amazon Marketing Cloud, and I was able with 2 queries, I will give you the exact steps today, how you can pull that data in order to truly evaluate from a different standpoint the impact that your, I would say, advertising efforts contribute to getting you new customers, and how much does that cost you at a campaign level. So you will get the true new to brand order, the revenue and the ACoS on all of your active campaigns. And remember this, with access to Amazon Marketing Cloud, you can download this for your normal advertising and also DSP for those of you who are utilizing DSP. For me, this was a game changer in terms of how I actually plan my strategies and the budget that I allocate to specific campaigns. So you can optimize for growth, not for the same old vanity metrics. Now, the framework are 2 queries, of course, for one product and total clarity. I strongly suggest that you do this per product. I did a lot of testing in the beginning and I started pulling as much data as possible. It can become very messy. So the best way would be to download per product and make sure that you analyze your numbers correctly. So you go to the campaign manager. Now, the first thing that you need to do is Amazon, whenever you try to create a query, will ask you for a campaign's ID. And that's the first question, is like, how do I get the campaign ID? Because in campaign manager, you don't have that data. So you need to download all your active campaigns for a specific time frame. So aligning with the time frame is very important for that specific product. So you download the campaigns that you want to pull data from, because you will need the names when we go and create the second step. Like that's where we go and create the first query. And in this query specifically, we are going to write a query in order to give the name of the campaigns. So it retrieves and gives me back the campaign IDs. These campaign IDs will be utilized in order to pull the data that we need when it comes to the new to brand metrics. But first, this is the first step. So once that you downloaded the campaign names, it's always good, and believe me, have it at hand at every time. Make sure that you take that, you note down the time frame that you are downloading for. Retrieve those campaign IDs, store them, and then you get to this where you need to actually write it. I will share this with you afterwards, but basically you write a query. What is important, and I found out, is every time that I use this specific prompt, I need to make sure that you put the brackets. So the campaign name needs to go in brackets. You hit enter, literally it takes about maximum 5 minutes. It depends on the number of campaigns that you're running and you're trying to retrieve the ID for. And in 5 minutes, you will get the ID that you need. So you can go to the next step, which is here we are going to create the query. Very easy in Amazon Marketing Cloud. So you go to Amazon Marketing Cloud, you go to use cases and literally type new to brand. I explored everything that was around new to brand, and this was exactly what I was looking for and I was hoping for years. Now you have the new to brand customers. This will show up. I really suggest that you use the template unless, of course, you're a developer, so you want to go and actually write it yourself. But Amazon made it simple for us. So you have already the template here. You need to give it a name. You need to make sure that you, again, align with the schedule. And then you need to put in the ASIN. After you put in the ASIN, I use the dummy ASIN, and then I put all the campaign IDs beneath it. You hit enter, and then of course you get this, which is the like the data that you actually need. So you can see you have the campaign group, the ad spend, how many product sales, the new to brand sales, the new to brand ACoS, ROAS. Now, here's also very important. You have users that purchased and users that purchased that are new to brand, right? So you can actually calculate what percentage of users are repeat users from these campaigns. Now, to give you a little bit more of insights, what I did is once that I created queries and I created new campaigns that were targeting audiences utilizing AMC, you would be surprised to see that on consumables, 90% of the new campaigns are driving new to brand. That's what's showing me that the product is growing, not any more subscribers. So there I have a new pool of people that I can engage and go and retarget with a coupon that they become subscribers to my brand, right? So that's where profit kicks in at this I would say this type of, business when it comes to subscriptions. So finally, we have, the percentage of users, and you will get this at a campaign level, which is the best thing ever, because again, you have a new perception of, okay, this campaign maybe is above my target ACoS, but it's bringing me the highest number of new to brand customers. So therefore, you might reconsider optimization on this and how you approach bidding basically, because it gives you a different view of it. Now, understanding your new to brand, of course, the ad spend and sales, the new to brand performance, and the customer count. These metrics finally will give you an idea of how you can monetize and how you can transform not only this, but actually what I would suggest is at this point, every consumable product out there, every consumable brand out there would need to evaluate this on a monthly basis, not only from how many new to brand consumers I got, but correlate that to the subscriptions that you are getting, to the campaigns that you are creating with AMC, and of course, at the end, how much your brand is actually growing in terms of awareness, which will correlate directly to your market share. Without geeking too much into AMC, I am very excited for it, but I promise you, so you have the two simple queries. The first one is just a simple step. You need to make sure that you get the campaign IDs that Amazon requires, so it actually calculates, and then you need to pull the data. There are 8 key metrics that will give you exactly what you need. And this data will align with LTV because we've always talked about lifetime value. But for me, this is more realistic when it comes to what really costs me and which are the campaigns that really drive me and how I can calculate my customer acquisition cost. So the framework is repeatable and that, of course, as always, on the shelf. And if you want to connect, like this is my LinkedIn. If you have any questions, reach out. And yeah, this was it for me.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Juana. I will now hand the baton over to Paul Harvey.
Big thanks for doing that. Can I go ahead and start?
You can start wherever you'd like, my friend.
Okay, thanks again. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, so this is going to be all about TikTok shop ads. But before I do that, I want to go over into why this is important and where we come from. So basically, we've been selling on Amazon since 2013. We've coached hundreds of sellers and brands, and we've launched two SaaS tools and two Amazon agencies. And we worked an aggregator and watched them burn $250 million. It's part of the aggregator mess. And then we transitioned over to TikTok Shop because I'm just bored of Amazon. There's no actual real reason. I just don't like Amazon because I like new shiny objects. And that's why I'm focused on TikTok Shop because alongside that, we also have a TikTok Shop newsletter. And I challenge everyone to read that newsletter and not be entertained. People love it because they're learning and entertained at the same time. So, now let's get started. The main thing is, I tell everyone this, we know Amazon. We know Amazon really well. I was on Amazon before the Amazon FBA days, so we've seen it transition and grow. But we know you need to be on TikTok Shop, especially now, because as Ian said earlier, Amazon's great, but everyone's on Amazon and it's getting much, much harder. And Amazon, in my mind, is like running up a hill, whereas TikTok Shop is kind of like running downhill because there's so much more things to do. And then every Amazon seller understands this. They need to do PPC, they need to do sponsored ads. It is a pain, but it's a necessity. It is definitely needed. So TikTok Shop's advertising console is very similar to Amazon. It's catching up, but there's one really, really big difference. I really mean this. TikTok ads are just so much easier because you can set up your campaign in a matter of minutes. I'm gonna share some screenshots now, but one thing I want you to bear in mind, in every single screenshot, we spent about 10 minutes setting up the campaign. These campaigns performed well because they're behind a really good product. And this is a whole bunch of screenshots, so let's go with this. Now, this one over here, you can see the main thing here, a 16x ROI. The next one, 72x ROI. Next one, 24x ROI. The next one is a bit easier, but a 3, almost a 4x ROI. And I include this because when you start up a new account, a new ad, it normally starts with a really high ROI, and then it becomes more normal after a period of the process. And normally we see easing down between a 4 to 5x. This product over here, we averaged for them over Black Friday, it was about a 4x ROI. But then we stopped the ads because Black Friday was over, we redid it, and now they're averaging an 11x or a 12x ROI. And we're probably going to increase this to 15x. It's because this is a product that's very much in high demand. So TikTok Shop is a great platform because you spend all of 10 minutes. And I really do mean that. You spend 10 minutes optimizing your TikTok Shop campaigns. If your product works, makes life so much easier because here's another one. So, like I said, when we started off with some brands, we see a very, very high ROI. You can see over here, 108 ROI. That's because we start off and it performs really well. After a process, it will even out normally about 4 to 5x ROI. Here's a brand that I wanted to include their Black Friday sales because over Black Friday, actually I lied, sorry. Before Black Friday, they were doing about $10,000 per week on TikTok Shop. But over Black Friday, 177. And the only thing we did difference here was we lined up all their campaigns, all their ads to run over Black Friday. So we optimized them beforehand and we probably planned about 3 months prior to Black Friday to optimize absolutely everything. And it worked. So much so is that the CEO actually phoned us and actually moaned at me because they ran out of stock, which actually is a bigger problem when you know that when you play the inventory game. So those are the screenshots, and I purposely included those just to give everyone an idea of TikTok Shop ads. It is very, very effective. The main thing is GMV max. That's what TikTok Shop calls their ad platform. And I want you to think of it as your lazy but super smart ad manager because it does everything. Automatic ads, they're ROI focused, and it's a full funnel optimization. So it looks at all your content and it does all the heavy lifting for you. The next thing is here are four features. And some of these features are kind of normal for Amazon, but they just got released over the past few months on TikTok Shop. First of all, ROI protection. If you set your ROI and you spend the money and you don't hit those metrics, you will be refunded the ad credits. And then next thing, promotional boosts. It sounds easy, but this actually was just rolled out. Now you can boost your budget, boost your ads during certain holiday promotions and stuff like that. Then there's max delivery, which will take your whole campaign and force it to spend money. And that's important because the way GMB Max ads are run is everything is ROI focused. You don't really worry about a budget because when you have a ROI of 3 to 4x, you don't really care for a budget because you won't focus on the ROI. But max delivery will force your stuff to spend. So, for example, maybe your ROI is really high, it won't spend, but max delivery will force it to spend money. Kind of like you give it a head start, get the ball rolling. And then creative boosts. Max delivery is when you boost everything, but creative boosts is when you boost certain videos. So for example, the way GMP Max ads work, they take all your affiliate content and then allows you to boost it. But now you can actually boost certain videos, not everything. And that's ideal because if you have like 100 videos running, probably only about 3 to 4 videos are actually making most of the sales. So run a creative boost, boosting that particular those particular products. I mean, those particular videos. Then the main thing people to note is with TikTok Shop, it really is a game of pushing out as many samples as possible. It really, really is because you want to get as many affiliates as possible. The more affiliates, the more content you'll have for ads. TikTok looks at all your affiliates and see what content will actually perform and actually spend your budget accordingly to get the best ROI for that. The main thing is ads complement your affiliates. So the better your affiliate content, the better your ads will perform. Because the flywheel on TikTok Shop is basically you get content that makes your ads perform better. The better the content, the higher the sales, and which becomes the more affiliates will want to promote your product. So it's really just about um, affiliates and ads. More affiliates and more ads, the better your results will be. That's why a lot of big brands are very aggressive on TikTok Shop because they have the budget. They know that TikTok Shop is a long-term game. Most brands run at a loss in the first few months. It's because it takes a while to get the affiliates excited about your product and actually boost them with ads. So this is very simple, and I tell everyone this. The playbook for TikTok Shop. One, start off recruiting about 50 affiliates, and then make sure the ads are running your GMV Max ads. I say 50 affiliates because I'm willing to bet maybe between 2 to 5 of those affiliates actually make sales. So then you will see that in your GMV Max campaign. And then run another 50 affiliates and another 50 affiliates. So the aim is always get fresh new content. But the main thing is you want to find your best affiliates. So if you're doing 50 affiliates, you might find like 3 or 4 that are really worthwhile, which not many, but then you run it again and again and again. So that those 3 to 4 become a few dozen over a few iterations, a few cycles. And that is the aim because then you're building your legion of affiliates. That's the main thing. But the next part is this. Most brands don't do this. The really, really smart brands are doing this. They know that TikTok Shop content converts on all other platforms. Right now, TikTok Shop content is the new kid on the block and it's just converting really well. So much so is that you can use TikTok Shop content to run ads on Meta. You run Amazon ads. You can use it to run a lot of external traffic strategies. And this is gold. It really, really is because the nice thing about TikTok Shop is every time you send out a sample, you're actually seeing which affiliate works well for you and which content actually converts. Once you find your winning content, then create 20 to 30 variations of that same content. And then that way you're building a database of really good content. And then if you give all that content to your GMV Max ads, it can only perform well because it only has your performing content. That's done really, really well. So I talk way too much, I really do. But the aim of this was to get everyone to use TikTok Shop ads because the way TikTok Shop is growing, TikTok Shop ads, JV Max ads is an asset to absolutely every single brand because you're finding what works, what doesn't work, and scaling what does. And that's about it for me. So any questions, please let me know and we'll
Be-
go from there.
Beautiful. Please, everybody, if you have any questions for Paul and anybody here, we'll do a Q&A at the very end. So leave them in the chat and then we'll address those then. But in the interim, we will have Jay unpack for us here.
Jay, we cannot hear you. You're muted.
Because I'm muted. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Almost. Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. So yeah, thank you for having us here today. And we were very excited about the topic, which is about perception, and how important that is now. It's not just a matter of a one-time creativity, a one-time product launch. It's about being a professional seller. And so Amazon really has changed. It's gotten bigger and larger, and there, bigger opportunities today than they've been. And I've been on this like some of the other presenters from before the days of FBA. I've been helping Amazon sellers, and things have changed a lot. But really, more than ever, success is about thinking strategically. It's about thinking long term. It's about thinking about building a business and not just building a product. And really, that is the way to create long term perceptions that are going to drive success. So that is the focus of what I'm going to talk about today, about some of the reasons why that is true and some of the things that you can concentrate on to build both short and long-term success for your business. Um, so, when you're a seller on Amazon, you're building perceptions. You're building perceptions with, first of all, directly to your customers. It's product reviews, it's accounts, descriptions of your product, it's pictures of your product, it's all of those things build perceptions and generate sales.
Jay,
Um,
are you showing slides by any chance? Because I see a wonderful beach, but I do not see your slides.
No, I'm showing slides. So if you're just seeing a wonderful beach, that's not going to do any good.
No, I mean,
Uh,
I could take a beach right now, and there's that, but
is
I
that
don't think that's
the,
I don't think that's what we go ahead. There we go.
okay?
Now we're
Is-
cooking.
All right. So now we're showing some slides. All right,
Yes.
cool. I'm glad you mentioned that to me because I can't see the slides on my end. Okay, so having said this, we are you're creating perceptions not just with your customers, but you're creating perceptions with Amazon. And this is not just a one-time thing, it is a constant thing. Amazon is constantly measuring, watching your metrics. And so building habits and building systems within your business are really critical because it's one thing to get one sale. It's one thing to have one good holiday fourth quarter season. It's another thing to do that year after year after year and build a business. And we are all about coaching and helping our clients, our customers to build a long-term business. So perception is really the outcome of the maturity and professionalism that you build into your business. So the things that you can control in your business are all around the things we know. We can do immediate strategies like TikTok. We can optimize ad spend on Amazon. You can optimize your approach to TikTok. You can optimize all kinds of one-off things on Amazon. But the question is, what are you doing day after day after day? And that requires a set of habits and a cadence of operations. And we strongly encourage and coach our customers to build operational habits. So those habits send signals to Amazon, which in turn enhances your long-term SEO and stability on Amazon, suspension prevention, etc. It also influences your customers directly, both through Amazon and directly, is how you create those perceptions. And that's what builds results, not just results for one day or 1 week, but results for years. And I think that's what most of us here on this call are trying to achieve. They're trying to build a business. 3 key things that you can influence by building operational maturity. Inventory reliability goes without saying. You need to have things in stock. Not too much, not too little, but things in stock. You don't want to be paying overage fees, but you also don't want to run out of stock. There's a whole range of KPI health metrics that need to be met. And you need to manage those. You need to watch them. Oana mentioned that you need to look at your metrics on your ad spend at least once a month. And that's an example of a cadence that's really necessary, a disciplined cadence. Just because something's working today when you first set it up, you have to watch it all the time because Amazon is a place of disruption. It's a place of opportunity, but you need to keep an eye on what's making you profits today to make sure that those profits will continue day after day. Of course, you need to look at your reviews, your feedback. You need to constantly watch it and adjust when things are off. And that's not just a one-time thing. It's something that you have to build into a habit. A lot of times, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you're smart, you know what to do. Anybody can say, and you say, oh yeah, no, duh, I know how to do that. But then the next step and the next layer of that is to actually do it and then build a system where you do it all of the time. We talk to many people and they say, well, yeah, we know that. I said, well, do you do it? And they say, I guess I haven't done that in a while. Okay, that's the problem, or that's the challenge. When you can build in habits and systems within your business to actually do things you know you should do, that's when the magic happens in a business. So, and I'm also here, although I sell tools, I'm a software person and we create tools. We also be the first to tell you that tools are not magic. They don't create an excellent company. They can help you to create an excellent company. And they're important, but they're not everything. Doesn't matter how many tools you buy, you still have to use them well. And so some of the things that you need to do, you need to have weekly inventory checks, weekly KPI reviews, ongoing review monitoring, ongoing monitoring of your campaigns, ongoing monitoring of your profitability, of things that may disrupt your profitability, whether this is daily, weekly, monthly, it depends on your particular company, the particular cadence that's right for you. But it's really important to have that type of discipline. And in order to, help people do that, we have tools. Again, the tools are not magic, but they are fundamentally designed to help you be strategic and operationally sophisticated in your business. So Restock Pro, we help with inventory management and producing purchase orders and keeping a cadence of inventory coming in and ensuring that inventory is profitable. You're not overstocked, you're not understocked. Seller Pulse manages a wide range of metrics in your business and ensures that your ROI and your profitability of each of your SKUs, which we view as each SKU is kind of like a profit engine. Your whole company is a profit engine, but each SKU is its own profit engine, its own portfolio, own part of your portfolio. And we look at each one and we monitor a whole range of things, and we let you know when something is off, when something's not meeting specs, when something has changed, when your returns go up, whatever those things may be. We help you to do this on a very disciplined basis. And then Feedback 5 is our oldest tool, and it helps you manage your reputation, both in terms of uh, uh, feedback and also, of course, the all-important product reviews, not just asking for them, but also monitoring them. And so this is where you can build predictability in your company. And so there's all kinds of great ideas, and there's always change. There's always shiny objects in the Amazon space, and that's what drives a lot of our energy. And that's a good thing. You don't become an entrepreneur because, and you don't create new products. You obviously have that creativity and that energy to look at new things, but you have to protect what you've got. And we're all about encouraging people to protect what they have and to fine tune it constantly, to build a long-term business. Um, and so to us, we believe this is the real differentiator. A lot of people come up with a product idea, um, and you come up with an idea. Launching the product, well, not everybody can launch a product, it's true, but you can launch a product. But launching a product is not enough. You have to be able to launch products again and again, and then you have to be able to make that product a success. It's not a one-time thing, it's what goes underneath. So the real brand that you're creating, the real perception that you're creating is really undergirded and supported by a disciplined process. And that's going to produce long-term better profitability, better rankings, better perception. So thank you. This is our tool sets. You're welcome to try it out for free if you would like. Yeah, thank you very much.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you there, Jay. Colin, clean up
All
for us.
right. So last, let me share my screen here. Hey guys, thanks for having me. I 100% agree with what you started with. Like, we dealing with so much of data, and also it's just not only selling. It is also like preparing your listing, beyond what you can think actually. So we built it we built it a tool actually, which is related to like a segmentation. How we find out is basically that's what we're gonna go through everything. Um, Paul, Jay, you wanna stop sharing so that I can able to share? Jay? Oh, okay, perfect. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Um, With that said, I am Colin Raja. If you never heard of me, I'm seven-figure Amazon seller. I built a multiple seven-figure brands, 12 years in Amazon. In the last 12 months, we launched close to 170 product launches. I'm a person believer of like whatever philosophy, what we follow in our personal life, it should be reflected in our business. So I test. I do like a lot of tests in my personal life and also in my business. And then that's what it turns into, like a lot of actionable steps, what we're going to go through right now. I'm not going to go through a lot on this, but you can take a screenshot and then go through this. This is what the Amazon algorithm evolved right now. So what happened in 2014 and what we are right now in 2025, what's happening. So at the end of the day, where we are right now is like a buyer intent is the most important thing right now in Amazon. If you're not focusing on too much on the buyer intent, you're probably going to lose a lot of money in the table actually. So how we can find it, what are the buyer intent available, and how you can break it down. Assume that if your product was like stagnant or something that your product was selling really great and you have no idea, something happened, you're out of stock, something suppressed or whatever, and you you were like not able to bring back your product, this is a foundation where we go through actually. And we're not going to go through all the things, but this is a foundation which is like first thing first, it's a buyer segmentation. What are the buyer segmentations available in the market at this point? And then what are the front end data and what is the back end data? What is the keyword data? If you have, you can able to pull this one super easy with Amazon. If you're able to find this information, you can able to bring back all the products which you have until otherwise you have like a good amount of differentiation on the product, and also you have a good profitability. Any products we can able to bring it back. I'll give you a small example of what we have done. This product was like really selling good, and all of a sudden nothing was happened, and we were able to bring the product from nowhere ranking to this. Actually, this is a test launch and the phase one launch. This is a phase two launch 2.1, and then this is like a phase test two launch actually. This is what happened to this product just by optimizing a proper buyer segmentation and going in more details with like a listing, how who it is not about like who you want to bring the who you want to invite to see your listing. It is all about like avoiding who shouldn't be clicking on your listing. That's what the most important thing for right now for me. That's been working pretty well at this point. So there are like totally like a 7 to 8 types of buyer segments available, which is like one was like a value conscious buyers, which is like a next one is like a professional buyer. The next one is like a premium quality buyer and conscious buyer. The other one was like research intents and seasonal shoppers and the gift buyers. In general, if you take a look at it, right, you could able to see like what is this characteristic of it and what are the content strategy for this each and every buyer. So value buyer and professional buyers are two different buyers. So the value buyers, they are very high price sensitive, and a professional buyer is like a very low price sensitive. The professional buyers require more details about the product. The value buyers want like either they're gonna go with like reviews, pricing, and also like if you have like giving like a small goodies or anything on top of your product. If you're like adding something like, oh, if you have like couple of more ingredients added on the product, they go for those kind of product. So if you're preparing your listing for a value buyer and a professional buyer, there's got to be like completely different. What we do basically, we drive based on the keywords, so we tend to forget this buyer personas, actually buyer segmentations properly. What will happen is like if the professional buyer comes to your listing and you are serving for a value buyer, you lose the buyer basically. You literally buy you they literally come and then leave. Or if your product was like a value buyer, but you have put like too much detail on the second image, then you again lose that another buyer. We have like a something like a we here you can able to combine, and also you can like identify what personas can be combined together. So if you take a look at this, the effective combination is like the value plus convenience buyer. They go along actually, so you can mix that together because they are price conscious, and then they are like too convenient. They don't try to do like more research. A premium and gift can get along. A professional research, the professional research is like they always do like to do a lot of research. Most of the time, when we putting up a listing for professional and research buyers, they now only go and then look for your Amazon. They also go and then look for your product in YouTube, look for your product in some kind of blogs or anything. So when we focus on the professional and research buyers, we focus on like getting the YouTube one video of you to be like presented in that in the YouTube, so that they will able to see that okay, your product is available there. You also talk about more details about there. And seasonal gift can go along, and value and seasonal can get along. What effectively not going to get along is like this. The challenging combination is like a value and premium. So they're never going to get along. You don't want to prepare your listing for like a value and a premium together. And convenience is research. Convenience buyers never be a research buyer. So they like to like go and then purchase right away. They want like easy solutions. They don't want like go for like a too much detail and research. Professional gift, it's a very tough combinations actually. Why? Because the gift buyers who don't like to be like go into more detail, they want like give like a gift for somebody. The value and research, it's the same thing. Professional and seasonal is the same thing. So I have done what we built it is like basically I'm going to show you one of the report what we built it at this point, and I'm going to tell you what to do for your own product. This product is basically a diaper pal. So Diaper Pill, we have like close to five segmentation. One was like a budget conscious buyer, a practical parent, a design conscious housewares, and premium baby care, and then a space constrained households. So if you take a look at this, there is like 36 percentage of the buyers is basically like a budget conscious. They want like a diaper pal, super cheap and all things. Take a look at the image differentiation actually. The second image which will like infographic compare the cost of the regular trash bag versus specific refill. So they are like very conscious. They don't want to be like going for oh, if I have to spend more money on the refills, then it's going to be like cost them heavy. So you tell them how much they save money in with respect to like a trash bag. Whereas here, the practical parents close sequence of demonstrate how orders are sealing technology. And whereas here, the premium care, a scientific informa of like how explaining UV disinfection technology or any technology what you have in your diaper pill, so they go for it 6.9%. So what we have done is basically our product is basically like a practical parent and then a design conscious homeowner. We combine these two segment and it becomes like a 33%, and we sell for like 75 to $85, whereas market sells for like 35 to $55. With a very small amount of revenue, we were able to make like a 30, 40 sales actually every single day, just by focusing on the segmentation and align your listing and images like a properly, and also giving them like a proper title bullet points in a way that it's aligned with like a multi-model semantic mapping. So this able enable us to convert, like we don't focus on much bigger keyword list. We focus on whatever this practical parent intent and then design conscious intent. So we focus on those keywords alone. We were able to enable to do this. How you can do this on your own actually basically. So go on and like go to ChatGPT or Cloud AI or any other AI tool and then ask them for this niche specifically what type of buyer intents are available. So it will give you a list of buyer intent for you. And then what you do, go to the Helium 10 or any other data dive or any other tool, download the keywords and upload it. Can you do the sentimental analysis to map the each and every buyer intent? So it'll automatically gives you a percentage and everything for you completely. What we do is basically like we take the data from the brand analytics and also search query performance and also the reviews and everything completely to come up with this percentage more accurate and also give you like a image instructions and everything clear. But to start point, you can also check, okay, you are focusing on this product, but what are your product is focusing on? And you could be able to identify that one. If there is a mismatch, there is always going to be a problem. Your product will be stagnant and then there's no conversion issue. There will be like always like a click-through issues will be there. If you want this report, I can do it for you guys from here. Any people who have here, scan this report. We usually like charge, and this one will give it for free. This report completely, and then scan this, and then I will send you guys. Just send me like your one of your ASIN and your 10 competitor. I can able to pull the report based on like, okay, this is what you're focusing on, this is what your competitor focusing on, and this is what you should be focusing on. We can able to give that answer for you so that you can able to focus on multi-model semantic mapping very straight and clear. Um, that's all I got, and I'm happy to take any questions, guys.
Beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful. We will open the floor up for a couple of questions really quickly, starting off with a couple we have for you, Paul. Specifically, he was trying to understand, well, if I'm interested in TikTok Shop, can you let me know about like what are some of the costs associated and how does the ad framework work?
So basically, with TikTok Shop, the biggest metric are the samples. The samples, there are two main costs per sample. First of all, it's the COGS. How much does it cost to manufacture and get the product to your warehouse? And secondly, how much to send it to the affiliate. So we have some products that their COGS are $10 and the shipping is additional 5, so it'll be 15 overall. So if you're doing 100 samples, it'll be 100 times 15, 1,500. That's the main thing. That's the main expense around samples. When you start running ads, I mentioned ads are really easy to run. They really are because all you do is you say, this product, run. All you really do is add the product, you add the target ROI, and starting with new campaigns, start with a really, really high ROI. That's why you saw I had some really ridiculous ROIs. It was because that was the start of a campaign. So start with a really high ROI, at least like 10 to 15x ROI, and then daily budget. The thing is, I'll put normally around $200 to $1,000 per day as a budget. It never spends that much because the ROI is so high. So the best thing to do is set a really high budget, but then a really high ROI. Because if it does spend, people would love to spend $200 a day on like a 15x ROI. So the main thing you do, set up the campaign. All you do is decide on the product, the ROI, and the budget, and then you're good to go. So the main two things are the sample cost, which is the COGS and the delivery, and then the affiliate ads, sorry, the GMV Max ads to set up those metrics, and you're good to go.
Awesome. Awesome. And when it comes to, I know we have a lot of brands here be watching with regards to their use to keywords and all of those things. How does that work with regards to the TikTok ecosystem?
So, because of my Amazon background, I've tried absolutely every hack there is to use keywords. I mean, I even did search found by rebates on TikTok Shop. And that's painful because we organized 100 rebates in the first hour of the affiliate posting. And we did 100 rebates, and at the end of the day, we only sold 103 units. So only three additional units from those 100 rebates. So that didn't work. It's really hard to gamify the system. Also, TikTok loves to say they're now a search platform where people will search for a product. But the thing about TikTok, people now don't know what to search for. So, for example, I've scraped tons of keywords on TikTok Shop, and they actually use those keywords all through the title and even as alt text on the images, and it made absolutely no difference. Which means, in my opinion, TikTok Shop is still very new to the game when it comes to keywords. They're not as credible and mature as Amazon. So right now, I'm not giving it any focus. I'm not trying any hacks or SEO strategies. They are there, but again, the main thing is get great content from more affiliates.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Jay, a couple questions for you, my friend. With respect to the tools, can you give me a little bit of context around how do these three tools support the weekly habits that protect perception? Specifically, we're talking about inventory, KPI health, and review quality.
Yeah, those are really good questions. So comes to review quality, um, Feedback 5 is the premier tool. It's really the first tool out there of its type to manage feedback and reviews. And so it can provide alerts about bad reviews, and of course it always has different methodologies to encourage positive reviews using white hat methodologies. So some of it is set it and forget. As much as possible, we like to automate things, but there's also things that do require follow-up action if you choose to take action. For example, we have partners that we work with that are experts in identifying reviews which violate Amazon's terms of service, and so we can help you have them removed in those cases and things like that. And also you can view patterns of negative reviews that may stop. You could have bad packaging in a batch or something like that. All of a sudden, you need to get on that to prevent an issue. So, but our main tool that's really focused on operational analytics is Seller Pulse. And what that tool does is it envisions your whole business as a profit engine, and then it looks at each SKU as a profit engine. And so it looks at all the dimensions of a particular SKU and what drives profitability, and what things can tank your profitability. And it could be returns, it could be something happened and your listing got suppressed, something happened and you're no longer getting visibility on Amazon, or Or maybe your ad spend is tanking your profitability and you haven't noticed it right away. Any number of things can happen that can disturb your profitability. Maybe your weight, something happened with your weights, your title changed, something got messed up. Maybe your weights got changed somehow because of an error on Amazon. All of these things can creep in and take what was a great SKU or a good SKU and can mess it up. And so we're watching those kinds of things for you 24/7. And then we're giving you tools to monitor and then when something starts getting out of spec within any given SKU, we're giving you, a disciplined structure to be able to identify it. And then ideally, depending on how your organization is structured, you may choose to delegate this to someone to manage and follow up on. So we're providing some structure and some visibility and accountability into making sure that things are followed up on. Because what we really don't want to have happen is that as business owners, you want to have a certain amount of freedom to be able to pursue new opportunities, whether it's new marketing opportunities, new product opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. And so we want to take your core business and we want to be able to monitor it and set up a discipline structure so that it's protected and your profit is protected as much as possible. And you've got a cadence of not only watching for problem areas, but also identifying areas for opportunities. So we've got a benchmarking system for different parts of each SKU, and if something goes outside of your expected benchmarks, we'll flag that. It may not be an emergency today, but something is off, and we flag it, just like something's wrong on your engine in your car. We flag it as something to look at, so that you can find out if something needs a tune-up in order to keep running properly. So that's our vision, and that's what we have found with our customers. That starting to do this is really the key cornerstone of having a long-term business. So we support, everything that everybody said today, and there are lots of great tools that allow you to do very interesting analytics. Our first presenter, she talked about, some interesting new analytics you can get for ad campaigns, and that's really excellent. And we do provide some visibility on that. But our interest is not to be data scientists, although we certainly have data people in-house. But our real goal is to make things really simple and easy and very doable, because you can be very smart and very capable and know a lot of things, but if you don't do it and you don't have a system of doing it, then it's easy to drop the ball. And I think that's something we've all experienced. So we're trying to help our customers to be long-term companies on Amazon
Beautiful.
and beyond, of course. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jane. We have a question from Sergio asking, the e-com softwares, are they available for Amazon Spain?
We do support Amazon Spain, certainly Feedback 5, Seller Pulse. I think we do now. Seller Pulse is still early phase. It's a really good question. Certainly Feedback 5, and so I think also Restock Pro does. But most of our customers are in the US, but on Feedback 5, we support most every place.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, everybody, first and foremost, for those who joined us, thank you so much. We appreciate you. For those who weren't able to, watching a recording. And either way, what we covered today isn't just about tactics, it's about creating leverage for you. Most brands nowadays, if you're successful, you don't really have a traffic problem. You don't necessarily always have, let's say, a bullet point problem or a title problem, right? Like what you need to be doing is investing into the actual levers on and off the ecosystem that allow your brand and your organization to get incremental growth. And a lot of those things, as touched on, and many of the things that we did touch on with these providers here, but also that we do at AMZ Expand, is creating that ecosystem that gets the most growth for you on and outside of the Amazon platform. So, appreciate you joining. Again, with regards to any services you need, please reach out to these wonderful people who presented. And also, if you're looking for any with any piece of an optimization or content or any pieces in general that you'd like, assistance or just a second piece on, more than happy to do any type of audit on your current program. Again, assuming that you're serious about growth and you're as invested into intentional practices as we are. So again, thank you guys. This has been a wonderful piece, and look out for the next one. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Ian.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.